What made you take the leap back into game design again?
It's Saturday, it's 12 noon. What's up, Grim Jim? It's your favorite Southern California Mike Strauss, aka the OGGM. Question number 3 right in front of me. What made you take the leap back into game design again? You. Wretched. Sylvia from Wretched, actually, was what sort of was the impetus to get where I am today. I'd been out of the game design for a while. I mean, I was still tinkering. There's still some games out there that have my name on them. Apocalypse 2099 is a game that we wrote and play tested over at Seth's. M20 is a system I worked at. Ring of Fire is, I think, a game I worked on. That's a whole separate subject. But really, for me to get from here to here, there are a lot of steps that require aid. And that aid wasn't available for a long time for me, editing and all the other things. And every idea I had already been done. So I was like, Then about, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, I first started exchanging conversations with Sylvia and Miguel over at the Red Room. You said you'd publish me, Jim. And sort of as a joke, I mentioned that like every week, Sylvia had something new published, and I was like, I can't get anything done. So sort of she, in a roundabout way, kind of dared me. So as a dare, I made the very first thing that I made that I published up at Big Geek Emporium, which was my slime book, my very first book of slime. And it was a thing about, what to do if you roll natural 20 and you don't want to do double damage. Because if you remember, there was a whole thing about a year and a half ago that doing double damage to a player character was bad and you weren't supposed to do it anymore. So I did this whole thing about, here's some alternatives. How about instead of double damage, you do poison or whatever? So that was the very first thing. It was written in like a day and a half, 2 days. Had like 10 slime and then the alternative damage to slime. And I was very lucky that somebody took the time out to edit it for me and put it up. And then it just kind of went from there. It got like 5-star reviews. People were like, hey, this is pretty good. So I found an editor on Fiverr, which is apparently something you can do. I found an artist, and then I discovered AI art, and then I did another one. And I did Undead, and that one, and I was only selling, the first one I gave away for free. The second one was like $1. The third one was like $2. So slowly but surely I was putting these things out. And, eventually sort of roundabout, Miguel and I were like, hey, let's do this superhero thing together. And it became Wretched Vigilantes, which was big. And now there's other things and other things. I don't know if I'm really in the game design world. I'm never going to release my own system. I'm doing stuff for Wretched because I generally like them, even though we are opposite ends of the political spectrum. And they're willing to, do the hard stuff, the stuff that I can't do, the editing, the layout, all these things I don't know how to do. My brain just can't comprehend. There's a whole, thing in it. And at 56 years old, I'm too old to try and learn these things. And as we know, my POC computer can't handle most of them anyways. So yeah, somebody else wants to work with me, great. I've got an editor. AI art makes my job a lot easier. I still don't know how to do layouts or stuff like that, or self-publishing or any of that other stuff. So yeah, it was basically, I got back into game design because of Miguel and Sylvia. And I saw people out there who were doing independent things. And then Kelsey with Shadow Dark and her, $1 million plus thing. And I'd been a fan of Kelsey's for like 4 or 5 years now. And, so I was like, well, hell, if she can, make $1 million, I can make $10. So yeah, it was kind of a joke, kind of a challenge, kind of a mocking of Sylvia and all the products she was putting out from Red Room. And the very first one was basically a blatant mockery of what she was doing, because it was all dark and grim, and mine was all bright and sunny, and silly slime and silly goblins, and it just kind of rolled from there. So which brings me to today, making the second product under the Wretched Vigilantes line, and rewriting my whole goblin thing in the hopes to do something with it. So yeah, how about you, Jim? What got you back into game design? See ya.